What to do with a baby. I almost did it wrong. I just recorded a bunch, and I'm going to show you quick how you get up, and then we'll break this little movement down. Question was from Dakota. Our buddy Dakota is there. Are you sleeping? I'll wake you up. How to get rid of thoracic rounding. And the trick with that is we're holding or rounding the baby a lot. We're not using our hips. So getting up and down, you notice with the baby I can't bend as well because I'm going to drop the baby. So you notice that you're going to have to start squatting more, and that's going to use hips more. We just got to get that hip mobility, and that'll help support the spine from the ground up. And then we'll work on some drills for loosening up that mid-back, saving the neck. So it's a little tricky, and even I mess this up. But the leg is going to come behind. So if I'm starting with my right foot forward, it's probably reversed for you guys, and probably sideways. So sorry about that. I'll try to fix that later. So I'm going to cross. We almost do this like a Turkish get up. If you've ever done those before, we kind of do this little, there, soft down. And we'll bring the left butt cheek down to the ground. It's nice and slow. It's called the 90-90 position. So both legs are kind of 90 degrees. I'm going to have you flip-flop just to feel how that feels. For me, the side's a little stiffer. It's not bad. So you can kind of use this as a little mobility drill, just kind of flipping back and forth. And you're trying to get that rounding out of your spine. Baby's a good drill because you can't really pitch forward as much. You gotta stay a little upright. And you're moving slow and controlled because a little newborn infant don't want to wake him. I think he's like staring. He's not quite asleep yet. So let's see if we can get up from this position. So now I got the right foot, right leg forward, kind of your shin. So you can plant that back leg if that helps. Popping up into there. Go back down nice and slow, using those glutes. Then I'm just going to switch this left leg forward. It's going to look a little awkward because I got a table here. But I'm just going to pop and then stand. Let's reverse it. So remember this, the leg is going behind, knee down nice and gentle. Don't wake the baby. Other leg going to that 90-90 position. That was a little rough. It's my weaker side. Let's switch up. Let's try your other side. Might be how you're holding him too. He's on the right shoulder. It's going to make it a little awkward on one side. Already this feels stronger. Don't want to work on the stronger side as much, but I'll run through it. You want to do the weaker side. That's going to get rid of torsion in your spine. There, planting that right leg, pushing off. One thing I like to do, you might notice I'm kind of coming to this like half squat hinge instead of going right into a standing position. Because that throws the pelvis forward. We want to keep that hips kind of internally rotated, pelvis underneath. It's that pubic symphysis bone is keeping underneath the center of gravity, even behind the center of gravity. Because that's where we have to go into. We have to hinge, lay that leg behind us, bring that other leg down. This side, I can kind of ease into it. A little softer. So let's try the right side one more time. Play to your weaknesses, make them stronger. It's okay if you can't get up right now. You got to use a hand. Usually you can get away with using one hand. Ooh, took it away, flinched. Popping up. As you loosen it up, you notice it's easier. Sometimes it's just hips are tight, your body doesn't want to use them because they're just restricted. Let's see if we can slow this down any better than last time. Ooh, much better. I think it was just at a funny angle. So there you go. There's the baby get up. If you've done Turkish get ups before, some of that's a similar start position. So we talked about hips. Squatting just comes natural, something you want to do. Another good thing you do to get rounding is stability ball or even a foam roller. Works well. So babies like these anyways for debouncing. So you kind of sit on your ball. Make sure my mic's not in the way. Have a good floor. Don't have socks on because get out of the way, Mr. Billy Bones. You don't want to slip. So you're just gonna kind of walk yourself into a bridge position. Baby kind of likes it here. I'm gonna say that he's gonna cry, because you can kind of bounce him. Right here is even good for the neck. We'll add a little step to this. Bouncy, bouncy, give him little tappies. Clear your arms out. So the neck is reaching, you're kind of pushing with your heels, driving length into your spine. You're gonna get achy in your suboccipital region. You don't want to let the head push. Try to flatten out the neck as much as possible. Not down here. You can rest in this position. It's a good corrective position too. But you want active strength for that. Where do you want to start here? Get curve. Taking your chin, you're lifting, lengthening. Trying to have your ear kind of in line with your shoulder. So if you record yourself, you'll see. I always record myself. I'm like, oh, that's not right. I'll probably watch this and be like, that's not right. But I still feel it. So maybe bring on like a headache type feel. That's okay. That's okay. Another thing you can do is you can take, I'm not going to do it right now because he is kind of sleepy. Take the baby, you're pressing, you're engaging your lat muscles. One way to think about the lats is, because they're that connector between the hip and the shoulder, is kind of like you're squeezing like a lemon under your armpits or a textbook, pressing baby up towards the ceiling. Maybe even roll a little bit so your neck's a little more supported. Bring that overhead. It's going to stretch that lat. Don't let your body arch too much. You want to keep that core tight. Just take a breath and kind of breathe. Breathe your bottom ribs pressing into the ball. And then go. All right, getting out of this is tricky, so you're just going to kind of walk your feet up nice and slow. Hold baby. Using those legs. Let's get you back on the shoulder. Oh, it's okay. I know we're exploiting you for Facebook Live. It's terrible. Oh, it's okay. Let's show you on the foam roller after he calms down. This is another good one. Kind of, instead of rounding your butt, forces you to kind of use your hips. Kind of go left and right. You do some circles in the hips. Isaiah likes the circles. He likes the bouncy. You want to? Yeah, you liking this? You liking this? You like the bouncies? And then we'll try the foam roller. Now this one, you really need some good hip mobility for. And you're not standing up here. You want to hold on to something. You try to just, even getting out of a chair, you're loading those hips. Your heels are down. Try to lift your toes up. That'll force your weight in your heels. If you're always prying into your toes, that's one mistake I've always done, even in foundation training. I'm prying into my toes. Lift the toes. You'll notice the heels, balls of the feet actually do the press to drive you up. And you feel, instant burn, right? Not used to it. Just because I'm thinking of that, thinking about the 3 points of contact. Foundation training is really good at retraining your foundation, obviously. One thing I've been doing is, same thing, ball in the back foot. So this is the bad position I used to do. I was pressed, so I'm lifting the balls of the feet. Here, try to pull, ball the little toe, ball the big toe down, and you notice that front foot will traction. And you can lift the toes in the front. We hit those 3 points of contact, we call it. Heel, ball the big toe, ball the little toe. We're listening to Chris Staples, by the way. And what you can do here is just bounce. You bring that back heel down, bounce the baby in this position. Using the hips versus using your lower spine as a springboard. One thing I'm bad is I'm always leading with my head, so it's hard. You want to keep that neck long too. Otherwise your hands will go numb. It's cutting off that brachial plexus area where the nerves come out to the arm from the base of the neck. C5, T1 area. Lifting the back of the skull, just like we practice on the ball. Same idea. And then switch it up. Ball the big toe down, ball the little toe down. Takes time to really suction. This is my surgery ankle, so this is the one I really need to work. I can feel it just doesn't want to go. So we can use baby to make good corrections in our body. Make sure you're switching baby too. It's about him as well. His head's always turned to one way. you're always using one arm. I don't know how many patients I see who just like develop like rotator cuff issues and neck injuries, all from only holding baby in one arm. The other day I was like brushing my teeth with my left hand. I didn't even like notice halfway through because you're getting used to just switching sides, using your non-dominant hand really helps correct. All right, we're probably gonna wake him up with this one, but get your little foam roller. Hopefully you got a bigger one than I do. Got some longer ones at work. But you can also foam roll your back with baby. Similar to the ball, a little more intense. So I'm gonna use him as a bit of a counterweight. You're gonna turn to a kettlebell. Hey, don't be sad. We're almost done. You hate this, don't you? I like your jammies. So you're gonna squat. Maybe press him out, use good hip mobility. Let's walk our butt back because we wanna aim right for that foam roller. Good. That's gonna be tough for some of you. And then you're just gonna slowly use control. Walk yourself on your foam roller. And then you can roll with baby. I'm running out of real estate here, so we're gonna cheat. We're gonna cheat a little bit. Get this back. Just so I'm in camera view here. So, rolling. Butt down, neck long. Let's see if you hate this. Whee! Keeping my spine long, good lat stretch. Remember, you don't want the shoulders hugging the ears. You want to pull the neck long. That lat squeezes, that squeezing those lemons. Neck long, already feel the tension. We're always pushing into more tension. We're not doing something just to do it. We're always gonna, if we're doing it, it needs to add tension. You hate it. Then you just move up a vertebrae. So we're kind of starting base of the neck, right above the shoulder blades. You want to go the other way? You want to go the other way? Whee! See if you like this way better. Starting here, lat squeeze, butt down. Whee! You hate it. You hate it. And you can also just roll with him. Maybe he'll like that. Ooh, maybe he'll like a little side to side when you want to get up. You just kind of, I'm running out of real estate again, but normally if you got a big room, it should be easy to walk yourself back up on that. Yeah. Whee! And then just squat up there. All right, he's getting cranky. What else can we talk about? So the shoulder's turning in. Let's get Billy Bones out here. Are you scared of Billy? Oh, Billy, don't fall. All right. So Isaiah, tell us about hip external rotation. Well, we're talking about rounding, right? So we got rounding. Shoulder turns in. We got the internal rotation of the shoulder. It's going to create rounding. So it doesn't matter about squeezing the shoulder blades back. That's not necessarily going to fix internal rotation. Now, a lot of times we're squeezing the shoulder blades back, we're pushing that pubic symphysis forward. So you've just put your center of gravity forward to your spine. You become the leaning tower of Pisa. You have no structural stability anymore. So we got to get the hips underneath. Talk about like kettlebells. A lot of people bounce baby here, right? On the spine, center of gravity is forward. One thing we do, like a jerk, we clean the kettlebell, holding this rack position. I used to think it was a terrible position. I'm like, that's all compressing here. When we get it right, you're keeping pubic symphysis kind of back. It's the knees that are bouncing forward, which is always hard for me because I got bad surgery on this right ankle. It doesn't want to dorsiflex. So a lot of your hip issues can come from a lack of ankle mobility on one side or both sides. Usually I can tell someone's hip sucks because their ankle sucks. I feel it. They don't even know. They don't know they have any ankle issue until I'm like, it's all restricted. You don't notice this? You're like, no, ankle's fine. It's not fine. You can have arthritis and not feel it. That's the issue a lot of people realize or don't realize. A lot of times there are issues, hip issues, coming from the other side. So I'm holding this like I'm preparing to drive a kettlebell up. I'm using my hips. The hips are actually internally rotating and driving up. So yes, the hips have the opposite issue generally. Ball socket joints, one goes in, this guy's gonna turn out, pelvis is gonna come forward. So you can see I'm kind of rounded from the side here. So we wanna lengthen that spine, hold it up. I know, you hate it. Look at the spine, look how happy it is. Happy spine. So that's what's going on there, and that's what creates the rounding. And lets us hide the rounding by putting our hips forward. So if we, as soon as we get straight, we'll kind of see, oh, there's that true rounding, or you'll see it in the squat, or you'll see it when you lay flat on a surface. You'll see the rounding. A lot of times we just hide it, and then you'll see those guys who are here, they've destroyed their low back, all of a sudden they're here, and they look like this. But before they look like this, then you could hardly notice. Like, oh, they just must have been doing this for too long. No. They got degeneration here. It's a quick switch. Happens before you know it. So work on this stuff now, even if you don't have pain. You're like, that's silly, Nate. You're moving like a silly person. No, this is how we're supposed to move. As soon as Isaiah starts to move, he's gonna do a lot of crawling, which is gonna develop the curves in his spine. This is a good belly time position too, especially if you're into kettlebells. You can treat your baby like a kettlebell. He's gonna hate it. But this is a stimulate belly time, so he can grab my forearm. Automatically, I feel his adductors working. He's getting some neck extension. It's gonna help his neck curve. Even before he's crawling, he's getting a little bit of activation. He doesn't like the activation. Yes, you do. But that's all good for him. Little belly time. It's a nice, comfortable position too. He likes to dance and spin. He hates when I sit. He wants me to move. So these are all little things you could do. The knee bend. This one's good. Worst thing to do is tucking the pelvis, bouncing on your low discs. Yes, even he doesn't like that. He noticed the compression. All right, guys, that's about it. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say I'm miserable, I hate it, I don't want to do it anymore. Stop making me do these videos.